Hi, I'm Josh, and this is Cars and Joshy.
Welcome to Cars and Joshy. What I got going on today is I got the El Camino pushed out into the driveway, and I'm just going to try to clean up the interior a little bit. It's got a bunch of little metal shavings in there from when it was at the fab shop, and they're starting to rust and have little orange spots all over in the inside. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a wet sponge and just try to soak up all those little shavings and get it cleaned up in there. That way I can take this eBay special sound deadening material, heat material, and go ahead and line the inside of it. I can go ahead and get the vintage air stuff mounted, the air box and everything, and run those lines, start creating the AC lines. Just got a bucket of warm soapy water and a sponge, so I'm just gonna try and sponge it up. Before I put my matting in here, I have to drill a couple holes. One of them is going to be the drain for the vintage air system, and then the other one's going to be for the transmission wiring for the 4L80. I think I'm going to drill into the side of the transmission tunnel and feed the wires through that way. So we'll go ahead and drill these holes out. Forgot drill oil. What I always do with these, since there's a hole that you got to punch in the tip of those, I always just keep the little cover that you got to pull off. That way if this ever knocks over, I don't have to worry about it leaking anywhere. Alright, it's supposed to be a 5/8 hole. All I have is up to 1/2 inch on a drill bit, so I use my stepper bit to try and get the rest of the way. And that's it. So there's my hole for the drain. Get this cleaned up. It's vacuumed out again. I decided to wait on the hole for the transmission. I want to get it in the garage and put it up on the quick jack, and then I can make a little punch mark somewhere along here so I'll know exactly where to drill for the wiring for the transmission. So we'll go ahead and start laying the mat up here. I've got this small sheet left over from when I did my headliner. You can check out the pic right here. Yeah, they delivered a bunch of sound deadening material the other day before I did the headliner, and I didn't even hear them drop it off. Anyways, this was left over from doing the headliner, so I'm gonna go ahead and use it up here. I'm going just above the line where the firewall meets the floor pan here, so we'll go just a little bit above that, and probably just under where I just drilled the hole for the drain tube, and then work my rest of the way down here. But I'm not going to do all this today. I just want to get this piece laid out, and then I'll get started on putting the AC box in from the vintage air. Now I already have the interior sprayed with lizard skin, like spray-in insulation and sound deadener, but looking at reviews, like Dynamat type stuff is better. So I'm just doing like a double layer of sound and noise insulation. cut out another little section to get that end of it right here and move on to the AC. All right, I got the El Camino back in the garage, so what I'm about to do is mock up the vintage air system, get the hard lines facing out here, go ahead and bolt it on temporarily and get my lines created. So for this mock-up, I think I have pretty much everything I'm gonna need. Got 2 lines that are for the heater core. You've got your 10 AN or your size 10 line for the AC, and you got your size 6 line for right here, and everything faces up, basically faces up so that it can come out these holes right here. So I'm going to get them loosely installed, and then this kind of sits down in here. It comes with caps on everything so it doesn't scratch everything up. Little rubber caps. This piece basically bolts onto here, and you flip it over like so, and it sits down in here. All the lines come out those holes right there, so I'll go ahead and get started on it. So if you have an LS swap with the Holley mounting brackets, you're probably going to have a difficult time getting this in here with the engine stab. So if you're doing a ground up restoration and you're using vintage air, you might want to put this on before you stab the engine. But what I probably will have to do is take this off, put the pan on, or put the cover on, and then put the evaporator kit on from inside the cab. So I'm gonna pull this out, take it back off, and try it from a different direction, because what it's hitting is it's hitting the cylinder head up here, and I'm not able to angle it far enough. I might be able to if I took like the fender off or something, but I'm not going to do that right now. I'm just going to pull this back out and try and stab the evaporator from inside the cab. Alright, got it in there with just a couple of bolts, about 4, and you can see it clears just fine. It just wouldn't go in with the evaporator kit attached to it. So, and all this looks kind of like a mess right now, but that's the whole reason I left so much fuel line, is because I knew it would get rerouted when I put this on. So I'll address that later, but right now I want to get the evaporator kit stabbed back in and start looking at how I'm going to run my AC lines. Alright, so it's being a little bit of the pain in the butt mounting it from inside the cab, but it's not that big a deal. Here's what I'm running into a problem. This is where it mounts up. I got to get 2 pan head screws up in here that screw into the actual housing for the or the housing bracket for the evaporator. The problem is this little tab right here. I tried to bend it down, I still can't get an angle on it. So what I'm going to do now is just cut this thing off, and that should give me the room I need to mount the screws up from the bottom right here. So let me get that cut off and mount the evaporator kit. Okay, so there it is, kind of mounted in there and leveled. This is the piece that I hacked off so that I can mount it, but it's up there now and it's secured and it's leveled. Had to drill 2 1/8-inch pilot holes to put these sheet metal screws in here, and it's kind of right on a angle here, so not the best design. They could have made this bracket a little bit better, I guess, but it's in there and it's secure. So now I can work the front here. You can see that's where all the lines come out, and then that bottom one I think is for the wiring. So the wiring is going to go through there. But I'm at a point now where I can start making my AC lines, which might be in another video because I've been working on this all weekend. Need to spend some time with the kids. So that's probably going to be it for today. and then next video I'll start making these lines. So thanks for watching Cars and Joshy. Josh out.